All right. You are live with the Veterans Native Talking Circle. Talking Circle, just like the natives used to do. And this one specifically for veterans to look at the ways in which these traditional practices, the indigenous methods of doing things, can help our American veterans like Nick Thunder, my guest. How you doing tonight, Mr. Thunder, the inspiration for this program? Should we begin with the Micmac Honor Song? Can you hear me?
I don't have good audio.
Oh man. But we can say again.
Say again.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not able to really read you right this moment. Hold on one second.
Should I start with the honor song?
I can barely hear you.
Dag. All right. I'm speaking at a normal level. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be able to hear me. If you're watching, let us know if we have audio. That is the one thing we don't know, if the levels are low. We started the show before with no audio. How would you like to watch a video where people are just all day? No. Trying to get our technical aspects worked out here. I just lost Mr. Thunder from the studio. All right. Now he's back.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm back now. That's better.
And we can hear you really well. All right. So as I was saying, the purpose of this show is to look at how
you're coming in very broken up right now.
All right, really. Is that because of what? Do you think it's the bandwidth or is it the quality of the audio for what I'm as I am? If you're watching, if you can tell us about the audio.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Can you understand?
No, I'm not able to really fully understand you. It's coming in very garbled.
Does it have interference? Or is it choppy?
Oh, yeah. You're coming in very choppy, very garbled, very digital, your sound. I can't really hear you.
That's bandwidth, I think. Mm-hmm. Because if I play this, it'll still be the same way. If I play the honor song.
Can't understand the word you say.
Damn. All right, hold on.
Yeah, I can't understand the word you're saying.
Okay, Nick, how's that?
Seems to be better.
This is an honor song brought to us by the Micmac tribe of Indians. The type of song that would be played for a veteran upon returning home to the people.
Coming in pretty low.
Get me the demonage, down the no give, nigga much good, my we done it. Get me the demonage, down where the big soul give, nigga much good, abahon madultinage, abahon madultinage, dan gisuk teligaluk sigu, ulau sit amo, we ya heu, we yo we ha yo yo we yo he yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya we yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya he yo, we yo we ha ya ya, we yo he yo he ha ya, we 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 yo he ha ya, hey yo. Get me the demonage, down the no give, nigga much good, my we done it. Get me the demonage, down where the big soul give, nigga much good, abahon madultinage, abahon madultinage, dan gisuk teligaluk sigu, ulau sit amo, we ya heu, we yo we ha ya ya, we yo he yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya ya, we yo he ha 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 ya, hey yo, we yo we ha ya ya, we yo he yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya ya, we yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya ya, we yo he ha ya, hey yo. Get me the demonage, down the no give, nigga much stood, my we done it. Get me the demonage, down where the big soul till, nigga much stood, abahon madultinage, abahon madultinage, dan gisul teligaluk sigu, ulau sit amo, we ya heu, we yo we ha ya ya, we yo he yo he ha ya, we yo he ha ya ya, we yo he ha ya, we yo he ha. We yo he ha ya ya, we yo he ha ya, hey yo, we yo we ha ya ya, we yo he yo he ha ya, we 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 yo he ha ya, hey yo. We yo we ha ya ya, we yo he yo he ha ya, we yo hey, hi, way, oh, hey, hi, way, oh, hey, hi, way, oh, hey, hi, way, oh, hey, hi,
Oh. All right. Thank you so much for turning me on to that song, Nick Thunder. Wow. Welcome
Yes,
to
sir.
welcome to the Veterans Native Talking Circle. If you're a veteran, a relative of a veteran, a friend of a veteran, a coworker, you're welcome to join this show where we talk about the ways in which indigenous culture and the indigenous methods and ways of doing things can actually help America's veterans today. And the co-host, the inspiration for the show, who finally we got through all the technical mess to get you here, Mr. Nick Thunder, an actual American veteran. How you doing tonight?
Doing better. Doing much better today.
Good.
I figure we'll be honest, had a bit of a tough day today. Service connected stuff. And maybe in a future broadcast we'll get a little deeper into that. But I'm very thankful. I want to say a blessed, Sabbath, Shabbat to all the Sabbath keepers in the world. And thank you again, Peter, putting this together.
Also, I would like to wish, especially, to my family members, but to all people fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, which is taking place, an opportunity, and this is one of the ways in which it's kind of, it mirrors the things that indigenous people in the Americas do, in that, you are fasting, you're making a sacrifice so that others don't have to burn in hell for so long, is how the tradition is explained. And, in all the ceremonies, we're always making a sacrifice of some kind. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I think, today it's hard for us to understand the meaning and the power of sacrifice. Like, you sacrificed your good feelings, for for the day, just because you sacrificed your body for the country. I think it's really important. So one of the things we wanted to talk about was how the fact
unfortunately,
that
not coming in very clear right now, Peter.
Oh man, yeah, it sounds like it's a bandwidth
Okay, I got
issue. You got it.
Yeah,
But it's going to come and go. I think it's the Wi-Fi is not strong enough where you are. I think.
I'll give it my best shot to hear what you're saying. So,
well, why don't you do some of the talking? You brought some stuff for us to share, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll put a few things up today I wanted to share with you. Again, getting back to the fact that our entire military and iconography and things are based off of Native American tactics, Native American ways, Native American warfare. Obviously, there are many people who could speak on this matter a lot clearer than I could. But I feel that my own personal experience, again, began very early in my military time and service. And I began noticing, this phenomenon. And it followed me everywhere. Well, I should say I followed it everywhere, either way. But it was omnipresent everywhere I went in the military. I don't know if you have a photo of the demilitarized zone somewhere in South Korea. I assume it's probably the 60s or possibly late 50s, maybe early 70s. There's a photo, and it shows a formation. There it is. And you see a brother in full bonnet, those hills are very distinctive hills of the demilitarized zone and the mountains of Korea. And again, we began to understand why this country still to this day um, appropriates, or whatever word you want to use, um, indigenous Native American warrior ways, as well as the ways of peace, as you start many of these shows with the Haudenosaunee prayer. This phenomenon is, again, omnipresent. Mm-hmm. And we spoke about it briefly, I think in the last episode we talked about. But everywhere I went, I started noticing that. One episode we talked about my early days in basic training, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and how there was a specific run one day, and we ran past Geronimo's grave. It was a very profound effect on my personal life. Mm. From there, I found myself in South Korea. And again, 2nd Infantry Division, I was supporting them. I served as a liaison officer, even though I was, just a buck private, basically, a PFC at that time. And I think there's a photo of my orders at the time. And if you get a moment, I'd like to show that again. But the reason why I'm including this information is, again, to show the timeline. This was circa 1983. Here I am being detached down to, as you can see, if you can read that clearly, let's see here. You'll see Camp Red Cloud, Combined Field Army. And again, named after Corporal, or I like to say Sergeant Red Cloud, who was a Ho Chunk, Winnebago tribal member who died in the Korean War during the 50s. He distinguished himself during battle and was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. That post was named after Sergeant Corporal Red Cloud, and for me, it was an honor to serve there. But again, we see that Native warrior spirit being furthered. So here we are, 2nd Infantry Division. Some like to call it Indian Head Division. I don't particularly like the name. I don't know if that's a proper terminology, but again, it shows how prevalent this phenomenon is. And I go back again and say that there's never been a defeat of Native American tribal forces. There has been mutual agreements. Many of these agreements have not been honored by the United States military or the United States government. And I feel as a result of that, we lose a lot of our moral authority. We lose a lot of our military power if it's abused. This is a power that's not to be abused. It's an agreement. This is a protection for these lands. But we carry this everywhere. And we see this phenomenon throughout our military. Again, we can go back and reference many different, examples of that as we look and see. Currently, the 2nd Infantry Division, if I understand correctly, is located in Washington State at Fort Lewis. I was stationed there back in the 80s. And again, we began to understand. It took me, many years later to understand not even fully, but things are still unfolding, I would say, but many more things were unfolded, and I began to understand a little clearer. So even my time at Fort Lewis was an auspicious time, although I was not probably fully aware of it. Again, I was there as a young Fort observer, artillery adjuster, Fort observer, and many days in the impact area, calling in rounds and things of that nature. About 2 weeks, 3 weeks into my service there, someone told me a story. And we were in the impact area. We were outside the impact area, to say, on the ridge, calling in rounds, adjusting rounds, furthering artillery skills. And someone said, hey, you see those houses over there in the distance? Well, a few years ago, before you arrived here, we accidentally hit one of those houses. I said, wow, that's pretty serious. I noticed a lot of wildlife in the impact area, deers and things of that nature. I'm like, this is a very pristine place here. This is a very, sacred place, for our artillery range. My God, what are we doing? I had been in Washington State for a few months. I got there in October actually, and it was very overcast. Obviously, folks who know the Seattle region, things of that nature, and you can barely see, a few hundred yards in front of you because of, in the distance, the horizon is blocked because of clouds and things. I've been going to that ridge for quite a while along, the impact areas. And one day I was looking through my binoculars and I said, wow, what is that off in the distance? I said, are they clouds? I mean, what is that? And I tuned the binoculars in a little more and I realized they were all snow caps, Cascade Mountain Range. And it was extremely breathtaking. And I'm saying to myself, this is a very, very pristine place. What is the true history of this area? And honestly, I didn't really learn a whole lot about it. I was busy being a soldier, busy, traveling and doing things of that nature with the military. But all the while still, keeping some type of consciousness and an eye, a third eye, you might say, on where I am and what I'm doing. If we fast forward many years later, you see I'm wearing a Nisqually hat here. I decided to wear this today. I recently got this hat in 2017. I was invited to attend a salmon walk in Washington State. It was a walk that some fellows and some sisters put together to honor the salmon. I was asked to attend, and I agreed, and was honored to come and help. I hadn't been to that region for many, many years. And as I told you, I have some service-connected, headaches and things of that nature that are pretty tough to deal with sometimes. And flying is not easy. I decided to go ahead and take a chance, take a flight. I got there, and it was difficult, I'll be honest. I rented a van. I wanted to support the walk, and started driving. Drove from Seattle Airport, got to Tacoma area, and I'd been there obviously, many years before. This is circa 1984 through 1986, and here it is 2017 now, so many years later. And I've been giving a couple of rendezvous points and things of that nature, and the walkers were getting closer, and I made it to the tribal nation of the Nisqually. I wasn't feeling well. The flight was difficult. The drive was difficult. I checked in to see if they had been there yet. Went to the tribal administrator, the public administrator office. And before I could get there was a type of monument there to a brother, I believe his name was Billy Frank. And what a great man. I read his story, how he fought for his people, the Nisqually, how they continue to fight. And again, I felt just a deep sense of reverence. I said, I'd been to this region before. I used a GPS to get there. I didn't know quite exactly where I was at. Wasn't feeling well. The walkers hadn't got there yet. So I decided to go for a walk, get some fresh air, and walk down this road right next to their nation. And lo and behold, I look to my right, and there is a sacred space that has been put together. I don't know the proper terminologies. And I see sitting in the chair, first I see the road, and it's called Journey. Mm-hmm. My people are Jornet on my side. And there were many of us in the area where we're from in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And it was called Journey Town, named after family. So that struck a, that was very profound to me, very auspicious. I said, wow, journey. Went down the road, and there was a very large, um, I would say, deity, for lack of a better word. Again, I don't know the proper terminology. Sitting there in a chair, a figure, uh, and very profound, very reverent figure sitting in the chair there. I turned, I looked at it, I gave reverence, and I went back. Again, very profound. After arriving back to Nisqually, this is only, a few blocks, down the road. Felt a little better, got some fresh air, and eventually the walkers, showed up, and things began. And I began to see folks who looked like the figure in the chair. It's like, wow, this is a real continuous. This is family. This is a grandfather of somebody. I can see it in the folks here. Time passed. Again, they treated me like gold, as they did all the walkers. Very just great folk, and very appreciative of the fact that we were there, trying to work with them, trying to bring more light to the fact of the plight of the salmon and their resources and things of that nature. And so that evening, some of the folks had gathered around and things, and sharing stories and things of that nature. So they asked me a little bit about myself, and I told them where I was from and things of that nature. And I turned to them and said, I'd been in this region in the past, somewhere in this area, not quite sure. I wasn't feeling well. I used GPS to get here, but I know it's somewhere in this area. I was stationed here at Fort Lewis many years ago. And they laughed. Two of them started laughing, and they said, somewhere like close by, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure quite where. And they said, like, about right there. And they pointed to this fence, and they said, that's other side, that's Fort Lewis over there. I'm like, wow. A few hours later, it came to me, those were the houses. It was the res. It was their nation. Later, I got to see more of the nation. So I had the honor. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to go back. So you're saying that during your training there in the military, learning to work in artillery, at some point they actually rounds hit the houses of the native people, the Pasquale.
Yeah, I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that was the res. About 2 years before I had gotten there, they had told us, and I saw the houses all the time. I could see the roofs, and never knew, until many, many years later, and they say, hey, brother, this is Fort Lewis is our nation. This is our nation.
Yeah.
Fort Lewis is a part of our homeland. Fort Lewis belongs to us. And had the honor of seeing the council. And I'll be very frank with you, when I went into the council area and there was a large area map, it was emotional for me to look at that, because I could see Fort Lewis, this very large area, and then you can see the impact area where all these rounds and things go, and it's a very large area. And then you see the Nisqually Nation, which is right next to the impact area. The back side, the other side of Fort Lewis. You have your front gate, and I'd never been there. And so it was very emotional for me to see that. I'm like, wow. And you see that the folks are very strong. They're resilient, incredible folks. I mean, no great folk, but no nonsense at the same time. These are strong people. These are not weak people. These are not people that you just roll over. And again, just an honor to be amongst them. I told them, hey, I personally want to say that, I apologize for anything that, my part in that, and what's happened here. And so for me, again, there's an opportunity to go full circle and to walk and to serve now the people. And again, they treated me and they treated everyone else like gold, and they told us, and we learned more, about their history and who they are. So I'll probably, put this hat on this evening, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think, it was interesting as you were talking, I was wondering, how do you carry on, knowing that? And I think apology is one of the strong things, it's cleansing. It kind of removes some of the disgust or dirt that you have over what you've done. It kind of removes it by saying to the person and looking them in the eye and saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my role in this,
Yeah.
or whatever role my family has played, all of my ancestors, my grandparents and stuff. I think that goes a long way towards healing wounds, both in the aggressor and the victim. And you're just fortunate they accepted it, because a lot of people don't accept the apology of, and I'm sure the people, for example, in Iraq and Afghanistan would not necessarily accept our apology. So we do have some difficult days ahead of us still, and I wonder about all those children, that have been taken from their parents over these years now. I mean, these are potential terrorists when they get older. I mean, they are going to have a chip on their shoulder that's, wow, it's just huge.
Yeah. The type of ordinance and things of that nature that this country, I should say, have expelled in these nations is horrific. And again, as soldiers, as service members, airmen, Marines, sailors, whatever, we have to reckon with it. At the same time, we have to understand that we're here to protect these lands. And for me, that's what this show is about. It's about, reckoning all of that and understanding how does this all fit in. Yeah, so that's real. That's very real.
Well, I think, one of the ways is in talking about, respecting indigenous ways and the warrior that the U.S. military does. They never really teach you the other side of being the warrior, which is being the healer. They don't teach you the spiritual side. And so that's why excesses like this take place. Because if you were in a state of balance, you wouldn't have to be excessive. And I think what you're describing in terms of munitions and stuff that we use, it's excessive, which points to some type of deficiency. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
just the nature of the music, the munitions themselves, these we're using uranium, spent uranium, all types of just very dastardly and nasty, systems that are affecting the well-being of, not only destroying people's lives, but this for generations to come, for, what's in the ground. Again, when you look at most of our military weaponry and things of that nature, even here in this country, if you look, well, this is all tribal land. We, obviously the whole nation.
Right. That's right.
States. But currently, most of the testing and things are done on, current, tribal nations and reservations, or very nearby. And it's to me, it's just not a coincidence. You can see it pretty clearly. Again, we go back to the great Nisqually folk, and we see what they're enduring. They're still enduring this. This is not something that's in the past. They fought their battles. They honor their ancestors, and they continue to fight because they continue to use the impact area. Now, the Squally River runs through that impact area, basically. It's right there. And, we're putting all types of, for, decade after decade after decade. And it has to be poisoning the people. It's very real. So this is an ongoing phenomenon. It's poisoning the people. It's poisoning the fish. It's poisoning the wildlife. And it's poisoning the ways of life. I'm very blessed to have been able to come. I won't say full circle because again, I went into the military. I said a prayer, and I prayed the entire time I was in for guidance and understanding. But for many folks, they don't have that, and there has to be a understanding and a reckoning and a full circle. Personally, is the way I feel. And the best way to do that is, again, like you're saying, is to reckon with everything, and that's a process. Again, it's beyond wars and everything. It's all the way around. I got an email this morning. It was the anniversary a year ago, and I apologize. I don't have the sister's information in front of me, but she was murdered, and she was a soldier in the military in Texas, and some other soldier took her life, and she's an indigenous woman, from what I understand, a Mexican woman, and it's the first thing I saw in my inbox this morning from a group called Mission Continues that I do some things with, that I volunteer with from time to time. Veterans organization, veteran and civilian. And again, it shows how serious this is. This woman joined the military, and I hope we can pull her information up before the show is over. But she joined the military not to be murdered by some son of a what. She joined to serve her country and to serve her family and to serve her nation. And this is real. This is real. It's happening a lot. We hear about missing and murdered indigenous women, murdered Black women, women of color in general, Asian, Hispanic. It's happening. It's happening a lot. And it's very real. We have to address it. And women, again, as veterans, as service members, they're starting to get some recognition a little bit now, but it's long overdue. And the issues are not being addressed. So, I think I sent you a clip. I don't know if you still have it, of some women warriors who work together to heal one another. These are Native women, and again, it just shows the need for solidarity amongst us all in order to really advance and to get where all of us need as far as healing is concerned. And it has to start. Personally, it has to start with indigenous people here. It has to. Yeah. We have to honor and respect and learn.
It's true. And it's required to take the leadership, because we've gone so far in the one direction, and in order for us to come back in the other direction, we're going to have to need different leadership, a different way of thinking, because just as we have been so responsible for destruction, we also have shown ourselves in the past to be just as interested in reparations for certain people. But America believes in rebuilding things that they have destroyed in other people's countries sometimes. So there is that kind of proclivity there.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, generally with a caveat, it always comes with an asterisk.
Yeah, it's true. So this was the soldier that you were talking about. Okay. I think this is it. Yeah. But yeah,
I can see it personally, but yeah. Can you say her name, please?
It's Vanessa Gullin. I'm not sure. But Vanessa this was something I pulled up 1 year ago, a soldier at Fort Hood. And this has been an epidemic at Fort Hood almost. I mean, it's happening a lot there. So there's got to be a predator somewhere.
Well, evidently they got the person who did it, but again, it doesn't
still happen.
It's still happening. It's like you say, it's an epidemic, and it's very real. Again, that was the first thing I saw in my email inbox. I forwarded it to you specifically for today. We had already planned to talk about women veterans. So
that's right.
I'm sorry.
That's right. We had planned to talk about women veterans. Now,
Yeah, we already planned.
if I bring up the video, you won't be able to speak over it. So, do you want to introduce it before I show it? I have two clips,
Okay. Yeah.
one of 4 dancers and one of a single dancer.
Okay. Yeah. This was I think was it last year? So a conference they had in Washington D.C. Energy Summit. Um, I was asked to attend to represent some indigenous folk, a nation, and these Native women veteran group. That's a healing and dancing circle, and I was very impressed. I took a couple of videos. Only have a couple of really short clips, but again, they're healing amongst themselves and showcasing veteran Native unity and the purpose that comes with that. And again, you see the diversity amongst these Native sisters. Again, you see the diversity amongst their phenotype nature. And it really, to me, it just really shows that these are healing tools. We can turn this energy into a positive energy, into a healing power. We've talked about, again, how in some cultures it's a bit more seamless, going from soldier or Marine, airman, sailor, service member to civilian. And so again, I thought this was a good highlight of that, and showing how that honor, that respect, you can carry it on, and now with more purpose, with a good purpose. Use that collective force as a good purpose. If we go to Asia, if we go to the I Ching, ancient oracle, and we look at 64 hexagrams, we come to hexagram, I believe it's 7, which is army, or is it 27? Apologies, but it's army, which is actually collective force. The original armies weren't meant for, killing. It was meant to save communities. So we learn the story, for example, of Wu Shi, Wu Xia, and the Lo Shu, the ancient oracle, and how these were developed, how he became emperor. He became emperor not through force, but because of his knowledge of geomancy, his knowledge of the lands, his knowledge of the floods and the cycles. And he became so adept and he's so wise that he was able to save an entire civilization of people from flooding. And they made him an emperor.
Wow.
And if we look at the I Ching, we see that army is originally collective force for the good.
Right.
That's what it's for, to bring together a group of folks to protect either from a natural disaster or some other impeding force. And that could include a human force, but that was not its paramount endeavor for the army. So, yeah, so these women veteran, again, for me, and service member currently serving, again, it shows, that side. And yeah, if you could show that clip, I think it'd be good to show that poise and that power.
All right, let's take a look.
Heal our sisters in arms, and that's really why she chose the jingle over any other style of dance. I myself am a traditional dancer from next we're going to be doing a round dance, and that's Heal our sisters in arms, and that's really why she chose the jingle over any other style of dance. I myself am a traditional dancer from next we're going to be doing a round dance, and that's
Yeah, real nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, women veterans leading the way, each other. Um, again, with incredible diversity, with native leadership and ways of healing. And it's very powerful. It's been a major component of my healing. And so again, that's why I'm here to share and to hopefully open a forum so we can share more.
Yeah.
I'm no expert on this, but I am a person who has received those blessings, who continue to receive those blessings, and invited to, to pretty auspicious places. And again, I say invited. I've never been the person who look up things and just try and show up. These are places folks have asked me, "Hey, will you come?" You're invited to come, and as a result, it's been even more profound, I would say, in some respects.
No, that is because believe me, I'm the other opposite side. I'm the person who looks up stuff and asks a bunch of questions and finds out where it is and then shows up like I was invited. And it is always much better, much more honorable, and a much more pleasurable experience when you are invited rather than crashing in on people, as my relatives will tell you, because I'm one who crashes in all the time. Sometimes having to nurse a hangover or something. But
Mhm.
but I think this was a great show. We talked about how again how some of the indigenous ways can be used for healing, how our country has gone so far overboard in terms of the munitions toward the one way, and we need to come back toward the other way. And indigenous people can lead us that way because, as you pointed out, despite having their homes bombed, and we're on the same team, this tribe, the Nisqually,
Yeah.
treated you like, yeah. So I see you changed
Still
hats here.
trying. Yeah, I just took it off. hmm
But you're still communicating the POWMIA hat. Solidarity, man. So yeah, and we also looked at how the role of women, how women often are the leadership, the healing force, and their treatment, especially at places like Fort Hood, is indicative of our being out of balance. And in terms of the U.S. military and the indigenous warrior tradition, they are very, very close. But we also pointed out how they haven't really taught the spiritual tradition, which is really just the other side of the same coin.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, all the great warriors were medicine people, healers, spiritual visionaries, that kind of thing as well. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
really good.
people first. Yeah, very.
Yeah. So we invite everybody to join us. Yeah, thanks for sharing. We need more experts who can talk on this issue to, diversify the thing. Otherwise, it's just going to be me and Nick for a while. But yeah, we're going to continue the Native Veterans Talking Circle, Veterans Native Talking Circle. We're hoping that veterans will participate and, get in here and hear some stuff. We also need to know
Friends,
what
family,
services you
family.
need. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Um,
Yeah.
and how we can help you get toward resources and stuff like that. Um, any other final thoughts, Mr. Dunn?
Oh no, just to continue what you're saying. This is again an opportunity for me to really express my gratitude through my healing journey. I like to share more peer-to-peer methods and protocols and remedies and opportunities that have helped and to heal me, uh, especially through our native family. And so yeah, that's I want to reiterate that a little bit, and the fact that we're looking to provide more tangible opportunity for folks. Also,
Yeah,
we're working.
yeah.
Peter's working, myself and others are working behind the scenes now to put this together a little more complete, so we can have this healing forum. We need it, and it needs to be led by indigenous folk.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we are. We got to remember where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful, just beautiful. So we'll conclude once again with the Micmac honor song. Um, as we said, this is the type of song that would have been played for veterans as they come back into the circle, into the tribe, into the community. Every time this song is played, the veteran reminds it reminds them of the time the song was played for them, and of course, they're expected to participate because it's being done for someone else. Um, Usually, you would be the only person or your family in the powwow arena or in the sacred space. Other people from the stands would come up, shake your hand, tell you that they're supporting you, and then move behind you
Mm-hmm.
and follow you in this great circle, which by the time the end of the song has come is a lot of people supporting you. And so it's a very beautiful tradition. It's a very seamless tradition. And I think talking about how fluid, Native American culture is, we have to have gyms and workout sessions, and everybody's got to exercise and walk and stuff. I mean, in indigenous culture, there were dances for all that stuff. You were dancing all the time. And so,
Yeah.
the things that the culture values now, like health and cleanliness and staying in shape, were a common, par for the course, a common practice, not even an issue for indigenous people. And so we're trying to look at ways in which things like that can help heal. Nick Thunder, the inspiration for the show, will tell us more about his knowledge of indigenous practices, herbs, as well as ceremonies and stuff that he's been fortunate enough to be a part of and how they've helped him. So we hope you'll continue to join us. And as I said, if you did not get an honor song and you're a veteran when you came home, well, this one's for you.
Yeah, and I will like to just add,
Mm-hmm.
just briefly. Again, I'm not an expert, obviously, on the Mi'kmaq people of Canada and northeastern, I guess, United States. I've had the pleasure of being amongst them in Nova
Mm-hmm.
Scotia. Again, incredible people. And this is, from what I understand, their honor song, not necessarily even just veterans or anything, but it's their general
That's
honor
right.
song.
That's right.
I understand. For me, it's a very powerful song,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it really shows that Algonquin heritage and culture that's up and down this east coast of the United States and Canada and along the Great Lakes and things, Minnesota and Michigan and all of that. And again, it's a very special culture, and it's very great for them to put the words in, so you can learn to sing along and things of that nature. As a person who likes to learn Algonquin language, it's very helpful. I'm able to see the threads in the language, and for me, that's extremely auspicious. Again, hopefully in other segments, we can get Anishinaabe people on the show to possibly talk about that incredible history of the Anishinaabe and how the Algonquin language transcends beyond all of these cultures of Algonquin people. And that story, for example, of the little shell,
Wow.
the prophecy of the shell. For me, that's as profound as the story of Moses, receiving that prophecy, delivering their people, following the shell, going to the Great Lakes, and preserving the culture for us to continue to have today. For me, it's just incredible to hear the threads in the languages. You know, when you begin to absorb the language a little bit, you begin to feel the language. You know, when you hear the greater Northeast, when Aquani, you know, the greeting, Aquani. And then you go amongst the Anishinaabe close friends, Onin. You hear the ni,
Yep.
the awe, to understand. You begin to understand the gi, you know, gi chi mani do, you know, gi sok. And you begin to feel it, the need, the niji, you know, buju niji, oni niji, you know, family member, it's real. It's very deep, it's very profound. You hear the song Get Me De Debenej, the people, the niche. And again, you hear it, begin to absorb it, and you begin to feel it, Nipi, amongst the Narragansett and the Massachusetts and the Wampanoag and all of the tribes there. It's water. Follow the shell, you follow the path, and it's Nibi. It's the same. And again, it's something that's just very profound. It's very beautiful. And, we study these histories around the world, and we should. And again, I'll refer back to the I Ching. I say this often. It says, while searching in other gardens, one fails to recognize the beauty in their own backyard.
Yes.
So again, all these stories are profound. The stories of Asia, the stories of Africa, stories of Europe, they're profound. We can spend many years and days speaking about those stories, and they're intertwined with these stories as well. But there's something that's very profound here that needs to be acknowledged
and talked about,
and talked about, and taught beyond just the reservations, beyond just the nations of the people. And the people need this too. Again, I'm not here to make any claims or to do anything. I'm here as a person that has received these blessings. I honor the tribes, I honor the people, and
I want to give back.
That,
yeah,
right, and we'll give back, but also recognize that this is the way we're going to heal our nation. To heal this particular nation, you have to honor the treaties. You got to honor the people, and we got to lift, like you say, lift the people. It's not easy. It's not easy for the tribes. It's not easy for the day-to-day citizens of these nations, and they're continuously being targeted, continuously being suppressed, and the news is not covering.
Leonard Peltier
covering a lot of stuff, but it's not covering. And it's an old saying, my mom always said it, but if you don't take care of home, home can't take care of you. This is home. We got to take care of the home people. And I'll conclude with that.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Nick Thunder. That was really, really deep. Appreciate it. All right.
Appreciate it as well.
Here we go. This is your honor song. And for all the honorable people, this song should move you.
demenage, Dandelio no give, Liga much good, Maui Danage. Give me the demenage, Don Weatherbeck soul dear, Liga much good, Abahon Madultinage, Abahon Madultinage, Dan Gisuk Eliga Luk Sigo, Ulaw Sit Amo, Wea Heo. Way-o, way-ho, yo-yo, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, hey-o. Way-o, way-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, hey-o. Get me the demenage, Tom Delio no king, Nigga much good, Maui Danage. Get me the demenage, Don Weatherbeck soul king, Nigga much good, Abahon Madultinage. Hey, Abahon Madultinage, Don Gisok Eliga Luk Sigo, Ulaw Sit Amo, Wea Heo. Way-o, way-hi-ya, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, hey-o. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya.
Walk proud, veterans. We thank you. Thank you
Get me the demenage,
keeping us safe.
Dandelio no king, Nigga much good, Maui Danage. Get me the demenage, Don Weatherbeck soul dear, Nigga much good, Abahon Madultinage. Hey, Abahon Madultinage, Dan Gisuk Eliga Luk Sigo, Ulaw Sit Amo, Wea Heo. Way-o, way-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, hey-o. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, hey-o. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya. Way-o, hey-hi-ya, way-o, hey-hi-ya, ya, way-o,
Awesome. 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 Thank you once again for watching. Really appreciate all of you. We'll see you here next Friday, 8 o'clock, for another episode of the Veterans Native Talking Circle. We hope you'll join us. We hope you'll comment. We hope you'll share. We hope you'll go on the air. Thanks again.